Hi guys, it's Lyndosha and I am here, and I think this may be my very last video filming about womanhood, at least right now. And I have thoroughly enjoyed this series. Of course, you guys have seen and met my mom through this series, and she has so much to say about womanhood and how you grow and do different things. So this last lesson that I'm going to close out the series with comes from my grandmother, who is Mamie. And the third lesson of womanhood, which is probably the foundation lesson actually, is about standing on principles that are bigger than just you. My grandmother was a God-fearing woman, and so for her, standing on something that was bigger than you was about standing on God. And in my opinion, I believe that in general, you just need to find truths and realities that just work. Because at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. And my grandmother's stories and a few of the things that I'm going to share in this video with you was just about that principle, that when you fall, when you get it wrong as a woman, when you make a mistake, when you entertain the wrong guy, when you put yourself last, when you're not taking care of yourself, what helps you to get back up? Because if it's only you, if the essence of your identity as a woman is only found on you, then you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle. And so as we go through this particular video, I hope that a few of the lessons really encourage you guys, and I am super excited to get started with it. So my grandmother Mamie, of course, taught me this particular principle. And my grandmother was a very interesting character in my family. She had gone through her share of issues as a young woman. She had gone through her own set of issues as a grown woman. And by the time I came along, she was clearly a grandmother. She was later in her life, and she had learned a lot of lessons. But as a child watching her, I never knew her past experiences. And so one of my grandmother's big things about not standing on herself and teaching this principle to us was, where do you take your problems? As a woman, I watched her sing and pray and basically tarry. If any of you come from a Southern Christian church, you know what it means to tarry down at the altar. She would do those things as a way of basically giving her homage that whatever is going on in life, whatever the situation is, God, it's not bigger than you. And so at the end of the day, for her, a lot of the lessons about standing on truth meant to just acknowledge what your flaws and weaknesses were in meeting the demands of your life. As a woman, we have a ton of demands. There are so many things pulling at us, whether it's children, husband, man, job. We're juggling everything but ourselves. And so when we are caving sometimes under those pressures in life, that was her way of just releasing it all and finding herself coming back to who she was and being like, you know what? If I made a mistake with the kids, it's okay. We will live another day and we will keep moving forward. So one thing about my grandmother that I loved is that it didn't matter what situation she was in and what controversy she was in the middle of. She never lied about her past, or she never presented herself to be a perfect woman. But at the same time, she always gave herself the grace to learn and move forward and do better on the next day. And by the time I came along, my grandmother was no longer in her preaching stage. So, you know, as a woman, you'll have this stage where you always talking and you preaching and you trying to put everybody in line. Well, as you get older, you start to value your energy and your breath. So you're no longer in that preaching stage. I learned from a woman who was doing. I learned from a woman where if she had a conflict with somebody, she would get on the phone, she'd call, she'd try to rectify it. If it was rectified, good. If it wasn't, she was still going to be at church that later that night. She was going to pray and go on about her business, because I think she had learned that life always operates in a cycle and everything is going to come back around again. And so in my own life, as I've tried to live out this principle of living based upon something that's bigger than me, I have found in my own weaknesses, whether it is, you know, as a child, I was a deep overachiever. And so battling with a perfection complex as a child, or battling with disappointment or rejection or failure, all of those things, I would find myself thinking back to, you know what, Lyndosha, you're going to live another day. It's okay. And no matter how hard the disappointment was, I knew that I could keep moving. And a lot of that came because my grandmother decided she decided to teach and show me that, hey, baby girl, no matter how bad it is right now, keep going. Tomorrow will happen. I've watched her in situations whereby she was in the hospital bed. One time I remember in middle school, she dealt with a really bad case of gout. You know, she was in a nursing home before she passed away, and challenge after challenge after challenge, nothing could beat the peace that surrounded my grandmother in the midst of dealing with all of the things she did. So I really hope that this video and this series encourage you guys. Please let me know your comments and your thoughts whenever you get a chance to watch them. I really have enjoyed filming it, and I hope that it really helps just with all of us as we are embarking and moving forward in life. All right, guys, take care. Bye.